up, Smo?
Nah.
What's up, Raptor Nation and RaptorScope watchers? It's me, A-Dubs again, and we're here to talk about the Washington Wizards beatdown. The Washington Wizards game against the Toronto Raptors. If you're watching and you want to see more of this, please subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're seeing it on. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you like what you're seeing, please light up the like button. The Raptors beat the Wizards 140-110 in a blowout that a lot of Raptor fans saw coming. Can't help it. We saw this one coming. This was a beatdown waiting to happen. This was also a tournament game, so the Raptors didn't have any reasons to take their foot off the pedal in terms of scoring. They won by 30, and you could see it developing to be a blowout throughout. So we're not going to waste too much time. Let's get into the matchups that we're going to do, which are Immanuel Quickley versus CJ McCollum, RJ Barrett versus Keyshawn George, Brandon Ingram versus Chris Middleton, and Scotty Barnes versus Bilal Coulibaly. So the matchups today are going to bring a smile to your face if you're a Raptors fan. Immanuel Quickley is playing like a true veteran point guard. We definitely couldn't ask for more from him based on how he's performing right now so far this season. Quickly hit 6 of 10 shots for 17 points on 60% shooting. He hit 3 3-pointers, 2 rebounds, 2 stocks, a steal, and a block. He had a 7-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. He only had 1 turnover, so he had 7 assists. And there's nothing really more you can ask for with Quickley. He's playing against a veteran guard here in CJ McCollum. CJ didn't do so bad himself, but Quickley played an extremely efficient game compared to McCollum. I'm already going to give this matchup to Quickley. This was a blowout, so there's not really much to discuss here. I'm just going to go through CJ's stats. CJ shot pretty well. He hit 8 of 15 shots for 20 points on 53% shooting. He hit 2 3-pointers, got 3 rebounds, 1 stock, which was a steal. His assist to turnover ratio was pretty bad. He had 3 assists and 2 turnovers, not really impacting the game in that way. And something I left out for the end, which was the plus minus. Quickley's plus minus was 17, and CJ McCollum, he's a pretty good scorer, one of the best players on this team. He had a plus minus a little bit unbalanced with Quickley's, which means he probably did some damage while Quickley wasn't on the court. But overall, you can see Quickley definitely won this matchup when it comes to things like that efficiency. CJ didn't shoot so badly, but Quickley definitely shot better, and that assist to turnover ratio is atrocious for CJ and really good for Quickley. This is one thing that we haven't had a problem with Quickley at all, which is turnovers. 1 to 2 a game. It's really a point of his game that we can appreciate and that comes consistently every night. And not to mention, his play is just improving more and more throughout the season. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is RJ Barrett versus Keyshawn George. This is another matchup that will bring a smile to your face if you're a Raptors fan. Barrett absolutely smashed this matchup. This might be the result in a lot of games this season. To have 3 matchups and for us to win the game, especially if it's a blowout like this, there are going to be at least one of the 3 matchups that are going to be lopsided, and this is one of them amongst many that there were last night. Let's start with the stats here. RJ Barrett hit 9 of 15 shots for 24 points on 60% shooting. He hit 2 3-pointers. He had 8 rebounds, no stocks, which is fine. His assist to turnover ratio was 2-to-1. He had 4 assists and 2 turnovers. So he kept his turnovers to a reasonable low and was able to contribute through some assists. So that's pretty good. Moving on to Keyshawn George's numbers. Keyshawn George hit 2 of 7 shots for 5 points on 28.6% shooting. He hit 1 3-pointer, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, and his assist to turnover ratio is one of the things that will really bury your team. He had 4 assists, but 5 turnovers. I think this is a season low in terms of all of the matchups I've done this season. 5 turnovers, yeah, some players have had that, but never with such few assists, never when they're not the main ball handler on the team. I left this to the end again in this matchup. The plus minuses in this matchup are extremely lopsided again. It's just another product of the blowout and the fact that the Raptors really had it rolling against a Wizards team that isn't really equipped right now to face some of the best teams in the NBA. Not saying that the Raptors are one of the best teams in the NBA, but the Raptors are one of the best teams in the NBA. And RJ wins this matchup hands down, of course. The end result is really at least partly a product of RJ Barrett's performance. So let's move on to the next matchup. Brandon Ingram versus Chris Middleton. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another beatdown of a matchup. And as I said before, there are just going to be some of these beatdowns when it comes to matchups, because if the Raptors do play this way all season and other teams get blown out, that's just going to be the results. But I really anticipated the Raptors being pretty good this season just based on the talent level they had. The fact that Quickly didn't play many games last season and Ingram didn't play any games last season, not for the Raptors anyhow. Adding that much talent to a team that was fairly good at times already last season, I just thought that if they try to build some chemistry on top of the talent, that they could be successful. And so far, so good. So moving on to Brandon Ingram versus Chris Middleton. Brandon Ingram hit 6 of 12 shots for 24 points on 50% shooting. He missed all of his three-pointers, but he did have 8 rebounds, 3 stocks. His assist to turnover ratio was 1.5. Unfortunately, he did have a few turnovers this game. He had 4, but he did have 6 assists, so it wasn't the worst in the world. If he brought down the turnovers, that could have improved the ratio, but he made himself effective in other ways. Judging by that huge plus 25 plus minus. So let's count that another win for the Raptors in terms of matchups. Brandon Ingram wins this one. But now I'll go through Middleton's numbers just for the sake of it again. Chris Middleton hit 1 of 6 shots for 2 points on 16.7% shooting. He didn't hit any of his three-pointers. He had 3 rebounds, 1 stock in the form of a block, and his assist to turnover ratio was 2. So he didn't really impact the game much in that way. Apparently he was on the court while either his teammates were doing damage or he was helping his teammates do damage, because this plus minus is a bit unbalanced. Ingram being a plus 25 means that Chris Middleton was on the bench a lot of the time when he was doing his damage. Whatever the case, obviously this matchup goes to Brandon Ingram. And we can move on to Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes versus Bilal Coulibaly. So people, when you're winning, it's good to celebrate your wins. This is another beatdown matchup, but I honestly couldn't pick which Raptors to show. There's just too many good lines. They played so well, all of them, and I didn't want to leave anybody out, except for Pirtle, who took the night off and only played 19 minutes. And only scored 3 points, which we're not going to hold against him because it was a blowout and there's just no need for him to play extra time. So starting with Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes hit 9 of 15 shots for 24 points on 60% shooting. He hit 3 3-pointers. That's 3 of 4 3-pointers. 75% on his 3-point shots. He's doing really good on the 3-point shot this season, folks. Really impressive stuff. He had 5 rebounds, 3 stocks in the form of steals. He had an assist to turnover ratio though of 1. He had 2 assists and 2 turnovers. I thought I saw him give a few more assists this game, but maybe I only saw the few that he gave and maybe they didn't score on the times that he passed to them. Who knows? This is another blowout matchup. This guy he's up against, Bilal Coulibaly, is somewhat the same player. He came from the same French team as Victor Wembanyama. We're thinking at some point he will break out, but this game he got beat up by Scotty Barnes. So let's go through his stats. Bilal Coulibaly hit 1 of 6 shots for 9 points on 16.7% shooting. He hit 0 of 5 of his 3-pointers. He had 3 rebounds, 2 stocks in the form of steals, and his assist to turnover ratio was 2. He had 2 assists and 1 turnover. Judging by the plus minus comparison here, Scotty Barnes did a lot of damage when Bilal was on the court, but just in general, you can see that Scotty Barnes won this matchup. Hands down, up and down, there's nothing to talk about. We got to celebrate our wins, folks, and we knew we were going to win this one, so kudos to the Raptors starting lineup. Even Jakob did his job. Even Jakob did his thing. Even though it wasn't reflected on the scoreboard that much, I think his plus minus was pretty good. Yeah, it was a plus 9, so you know he was doing his thing. Before we go, we're going to do something we haven't done before, which is give our bench players some love. I learned how to say it. Sandro Mamukelashvili and Jamal Shead have been fantastic. I don't want to leave out anyone else on the bench. I'm so impressed by every single player down there. I don't want to leave out Grady Dick. I don't want to leave out Jacoby Walter. I don't want to leave out Ochai Agbaji. I'm gonna leave out the rest of you because there's just too many of you to mention. But these 2 players have been so responsible for the Raptors bench plus minus being one of the best in the league. Now I know plus minus is a complicated stat and there are many factors that are involved, and there are 4 other players on the court on your team, much less for the other team, that are going to affect it. But when it comes down to it, this is a stat that reflects how well your team is doing when you are on the court. And these 2 players not only have a good plus minus, but they have just in general good lines. and they played extremely well tonight. So let's go through Mamu Keleshvili's stats first of all. So Mamu hit 8 of 15 shots for 23 points on 53% shooting. He hit 2 of 3 3-pointers, 5 of 6 free throws, by the way. And this is something I mentioned the other night. If they're gonna foul us, we gotta punish them by hitting the free throws. We get the consolation, we get the chance to shoot them, but we gotta hit them. One thing I've noticed is that Mamu doesn't get any respect. He gets beat up all the time. So when they call the fouls, hit these shots, and that's exactly what Mamu did. He also had 7 rebounds, only 1 stock, which I find hard to believe because he plays such hard defense. But they also called a couple fouls that I thought were pretty questionable, especially one block that Mamu had. It was pretty clean on camera, and I don't know how they ended up calling that a foul, but it is what it is. He only had 1 stock, and his assist to turnover ratio was 2. He didn't do any damage there and had minimal impact in that category. Generally a great performance when you can get that off the bench. Basically a mini Scotty Barnes off the bench. That's invaluable, and I hope we can see that from him all season. I was really excited when we got him from the Spurs, and he can come off the bench and play with the best of them. Moving on to Jamal Shead, who hit a perfect 2 of 2 shots. They were both 3-pointers, and he also hit 1 of 2 free throws. So he had 7 points on 100% shooting. He also had 1 rebound, 2 stocks, a steal and a block, and his assist to turnover ratio was 7-1. So he had 7 assists and 1 turnover. No, 0 turnovers, man. Okay, short the guy on his stats. Anyway, Jamal Shead, before I short the man on his respects, had 10 assists and no turnovers. No turnovers. And do I have to say anything about these two players' plus minuses? There's no minuses in these plus minuses. It's all plus. Just like for these players, it's all plus. Amazing performances off the bench. Everybody doing their job. Jacoby with a plus minus of 20. No flashy stats, but the proof is there. Same thing with Grady Dick. And all we can say is on to the next one, Raptor fans. We are now on a 6-game winning streak. Debo's coming through the East, and all the other teams in the Eastern Conference gotta watch out. We'll be playing a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference coming up, and we already started pretty much. And this will be a good test for us, and I hope all the other teams in the East are ready. The Raptors are ready. Let's hope they stay ready and keep improving and getting better all season. The sky is the limit. All right, Raptor fans, this was a good game. Debo's coming through the East. Next game is against Brooklyn, and that already looks like another win. All right, Raptor fans, I'm A-Dubs. You have a good one. See you again after the next game. Peace out.